All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies course, I've been creating a series of video presentations based on the Mozilla Developer Network Learn Web Development series. I am in the forums section, and we're in the middle of the styling web forms, and we want to create this. Okay, so it tells us if we want to follow along, which I have been doing, let's make a copy of the start file, which as you can see has virtually nothing in it. So let's come in here. I think we're kind of done with our veggie form, so I'll just come in here and do this. There's our start, and I'm going to save that. I'm going to put it into the forms, and I'm going to put it in as postcard.html. Not sure what they called it, but that's what I'm calling it. They called it postcard start, no biggie. And follow the instructions below. The HTML is only slightly more involved than the example we used in the first article. It just has a few extra IDs. So here's the form. We'll have an H1. That'll be the. In fact, let's put it in here, and let's put it in kind of piecemeal so we can see exactly what's happening. How's that? So we'll put in that, and I'm just going to build this thing very, very incrementally so you can see it along the way. So that's just got the H1 tag in it, right? So that's all we've got right now. To Mozilla. Okay, that's a start. And next we'll put in this div. Again, I'm going to put it in 5 or 6 steps. Oops. Okay, I've got 2 divs in there now. I don't know what I did. All right. Okay, there's our from. And remember, we want it to look like, let's open that up in a no tab. Oops. We want it to look like this. So we've got the to Mozilla, we've got the from in there right now. All right. Here's the reply. And you all know already we put absolutely no CSS into this. So it's going to look pretty ugly, at least for a while. All right, so there's our from and there's our reply. This will be our message. You'll notice that the message is in a text area where the other 2 were put in inputs. And there's a very good reason for that, because typically that's, when you're making out a postcard, that's where you're going to put all the, whatever information you want to send to somebody. All right. So there's that. And finally our button. And you might think to yourself, why are you going to all this trouble? Why don't you just put the whole thing in at once? Well, one thing I've not done a good job of doing in this series is to show you that when you are building something, if you're building something that's got 100 lines of code in it, you shouldn't type in 100 lines and then start testing it. Type in 10 lines and then test. Type in 10 more lines and test, etc. Makes a lot more sense. You'll find your errors quicker. You'll also internally yourself, you'll have a better idea of what you're doing. So that's what we have right now. Not a whole lot. And you might say it does or doesn't look like this, but it's getting there at least. I don't need that anymore. All right. So this is where the fun begins. Before we start coding, we need 3 additional assets. The postcard background that we need. So let's click on here. There's the background, so I'm going to save the image as, and I'll go to my desktop and go to forums. Now again, I'm going to try to do this in a better way. So I'm going to make a folder in here called images, and I'm going to save it. be saved as background, but there it is. All right. It's just a better idea as far as they say organizing assets. A typewriter font. Download the TFF file into the same directory as above. Well, that's going to download it, so let's see. Download TFF. Now, by default, that's probably going to put it right in my downloads folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract it. All right. And I'm going to grab both of these. I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it or not. I should be reading along with it, but I'm not. And I'm going to take it and throw it into my forms folder. So I'm going to just paste it right there so I now have it. All right. The journal font also they want in there, so I'm going to have to do the same thing. Again, I will take this and extract it. That freeware license I think I've already got in there, so I'm not going to worry about that. But I am going to copy this. There it is. So I've got both the veteran typewriter and the journal. All right. So I've done all that downloading. Your fonts need some more processing before you start. Generate a web font kit. Download the kit to your computer. Well, I'm not doing this the way they show it, but I'm going to see if this will work. Didn't like that. Okie dokie. Oh, there it did take it. All right. So there's downloading my kit. Not done this before, so it's interesting if nothing else. Now, if I did it the wrong way, which I very well could have, I might get an error here because it's trying to do it, but it, oh, there it goes. All right, so let's see. It said download that kit. Upload both of them. I did that. Upload, unzip the provided zip file. Inside, you'll find some font files, 2WAF and 2WAF2 files. Copy these into a directory called fonts in the same directory as before. Okie dokie. Alrighty. Let's show them the folder. Let's again take this and extract it. I'm going to just, let's see, it says we want this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. So I'm going to copy these, go back to here, and to here, create a folder named fonts, paste those in. I think that's everything they asked me to do. All right. Now we can dig into the CSS for the example. Add all the code blocks shown inside of a style element, one after another. So let me just grab all of them here. And as it says, put them in here in the style element. So that's about 40 lines or so. It looks a little better laid out. Notice we have added some CSS grid and flexbox to lay out the forms. Using this, we can easily position our elements, including the title and form elements. I think that's in there already, but I'm not sure. So let's check. H1 message from and to. Does not look like it. So all right. Now we can start working with the form elements themselves. First, assure that the labels are given the right font. The text fields require some common rules. In other words, we remove their borders and backgrounds and redefine their padding and margin. I've not done this before, so either it's going to look really good or really not good. When one of these fields gains focus, we highlight them in a light gray transparent background. In other words, so they stand out a little bit. Now that our text fields are complete, we need to adjust the display of the single and multiple line text fields to match, since they won't typically look the same using the defaults. So, tweaking the text area elements default to being rendered as an inline block element. Remember, inline means all on basically, part of a it'll be a combination of inline and block. The two important things here are the resize and overflow properties. When our design is a fixed size, and we could use the resize property to prevent this, it is best to prevent users from resizing a text area. All right, and we talked a little bit about that before. The overflow property is used to make sure that to make the field render more consistently across different types of browsers. Styling the submit button. The button is really convenient to style with CSS. You can do whatever you want, even using pseudo elements. Now, before I show what theirs looks like, let's save this. Let's run ours and see what it looks like now. All right, so I'm going to jump back my desktop into forms, and I'm going to run the postcard. All right, it looks like my background isn't here for whatever reason, but the rest of it doesn't look too bad. All right, so let's take a quick look. And, oh, I know what it is. I would like to fix that first, so let's see, background. Huh. Background none, background 000, background. That's what we want. So we want this to say images/background.jpg. And you'll notice that we'll change it from this to this. There we go. So that's what ours looks like, and let's see what theirs looks like. All right, it says, voila, your message should look like this. Well, they filled it in, and I did not. But I think it's a pretty good representation. All right, there could have been things I forgot, but just running through that quickly with you at least, hopefully that helped you. And you can always run it live and see their own source code, okay? All right, again, strongly recommend you do the test your skills. We are done now with the intro, the introduction, your first form, how to structure a web form, basic native controls, the HTML5 input types, other form controls, styling web forms. So now we're going to look at some advanced form styling before we head into the pseudo classes.